Rick Pitino and the Providence Friars, and John Thompson and the Georgetown Hoyas. The road to the Final Four is winding down, and just 2 teams remain in the Southeast Regional. The faces tell the story. Desire, the drive, the dream to reach the Final Four. Providence, an upstart team living a Cinderella season, is only 1 game away. Georgetown, one of the dominant teams of the decade, is only 1 game away. Only one will survive. Only one will celebrate. Only one will continue down the road to the Final Four. It's Providence versus Georgetown in the Southeast Regional Final. In Louisville, Kentucky, with a rich tradition in NCAA championship play, the scene today of the Southeast Regional Final between 2 Big East teams. Providence Friars, number 6 in the region, and the top-seeded Georgetown Hoyas. The winner of this game will advance to the Final Four in New Orleans next week and will play the survivor of North Carolina and Syracuse, coming up next on CBS in the national semifinals 1 week from today. Hello again, everyone. I'm Dick Stockton, and these teams are obviously no strangers to one another. This will be the 4th time they have played this year, but this game carries a lot more significance and impact than all of the other games combined. Providence and Georgetown have been marked by the 3-point bombs of the Friars, the harassing pressure defense of Georgetown, and both coaches who empty their benches and use a lot of reinforcements. My partner, as usual, is Tom Heinsohn. What about the familiarity that these 2 teams have with each other?
Well, Dick, these 2 teams have been scaring the pants off of all Big East non-conference teams in this tournament. And I think right now that there is no fear in the eyes of either one of these teams. And there also will be no surprises because they played each other so many times. I think what's going to count today more than anything else is execution of their game plans.
As we said, this is the 4th time they have played. Let's take a closer look at their previous meetings. Providence, on a shot at the buzzer, beat Georgetown by 3 at Providence, but the Hoyas have won the last 2 meetings, including a semifinal matchup in the Big East tournament. And in fact, the intensity even filtered down to the 2 coaches, John Thompson and Rick Pitino, who went at it, although both of those coaches downplayed that incident yesterday. Tommy, what are the keys to the game today?
I think that Georgetown must really get out there and choke off the good 3-point shooters of Providence. And I think they also must continue that very aggressive offensive rebounding that was so successful against the University of Kansas. Providence College has got to get some real point production from their inside people. And they also are going to be faced with the most difficult blockout job of their entire careers. Everybody has to block out on the boards for Providence in order for them to win.
Tom, let's talk about 2 seniors, one on each club. Reggie Williams and the impact he has for the Georgetown team, and the great leadership of Billy Donovan for Providence.
I think that Reggie Williams is really their go-to guy. He's the guy that is a pure shooter on their team, and when they need some points, he gets it going. He is really an experience-tested, tournament-true ball player. Billy Donovan is the catalyst for Providence College. If they take away his outside shot, he'll penetrate, and he'll find opportunities for other people. Today, it should be the big guys that are open. They will have to catch the ball and score.
John Thompson says there are no more Cinderellas. They've all gone home, but don't tell that to Providence. They were picked to finish 6th in the Big East this year.
CBS Sports presents the NCAA Basketball Championship. Today's regional final game from Louisville is sponsored by Budweiser, Beechwood aged for that clean, crisp taste. This Bud's for you. Mercedes-Benz, engineered like no other car in the world. And by Mass Mutual, we insure more than lives, we insure success.
We'll announce the final cuts after tomorrow's practice.
I can't sleep and I lay and I think.
You gotta start hitting from out there, Harris.
Oh, I need a drink of cool rain.
The way to stay cool is clear.
7-Up is so good coming down. Rain on me. Yeah.
I've been paying out long enough. I found a way to get money back.
The Discover card.
A credit card that pays you money back on every purchase.
Choose it, use it, get away.
Money that adds up to a yearly cash bonus.
Get it back.
All from a card that costs nothing to get.
Smart move. The Discover card.
Hey, nice trip.
Nice card.
Use it at more and more places like United Airlines, Exxon, and Holiday Inn.
I drove that car last weekend.
The big Mercedes?
The S-Class.
What'd you think?
I think you have to sit in that big leather seat, put Mozart, maybe Beethoven on the stereo, then go out and drive in tight rush hour traffic, up some back mountain road, all night in a rainstorm, and then you'll know what I think.
Which is?
I think just maybe I drove the perfect car, or as close to it as anybody's ever come.
We're moments away from the start of the game, and it has been a while since Providence reached the Final Four, and they're one step away. 1973, Dave Gavitt was the head coach of the Providence Friars, as the Friars played Memphis State in the national semifinals. They were, of course, paced by the court wizardry of Ernie Di Gregorio. He was the little man, and Marvin Barnes was the big man on Providence's team. John Thompson, the Georgetown coach, played for the Friars in the mid-60s, and that team was captained by a man named Ray Flynn, who's the current mayor of Boston, who's here at Freedom Hall today. And now for the starting lineups, let's go to our public address announcer, John Tom.
And good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Freedom Hall and the Kentucky Fair and Exposition Center for this afternoon's Southeast Region semifinal round game between the University of Providence Friars and the Hoyas of Georgetown University. And now, let's meet the starting lineups. For Providence, at forward, a 6'7" senior from Kitchener, Ontario, number 15, David Kipper. For Georgetown, at forward, a 6'7" senior from Baltimore, Maryland, number 34, Reggie Williams. For Providence, at forward, a 6'4" senior from Germantown, Pennsylvania, number 23, Ernie Lewis. For Georgetown, at forward, a 6'4" junior from New Orleans, Louisiana, number 10, Harry McDonald. For Providence at center, a 6'11" senior from Central Falls, Rhode Island, number 50, Yasik Duda. For Georgetown at center, a 7-foot junior from Detroit, Michigan, number 51, Ben Guillory. For Providence at guard, a 6'4" junior from Michigan City, Indiana, number 12, Delray Brooks. For Georgetown at guard, a 6'2" freshman from New Orleans, Louisiana, number 12, Dwayne Bryant. For Providence at guard, a 6-foot senior from Rockville Center, New York, number 34, Billy Donovan. For Georgetown at guard, a 6'2" freshman from Washington, D.C., number 20, Mark Tillman. And introducing the head coaches for Providence in his second season, Rick Patino. And for Georgetown in his 15th season, John Thompson.
An all Big East affair for the right to go to New Orleans, and the identity of the first Final Four team about to start. Back at Freedom Hall, Providence has scored at least 90 points in each of their tournament games so far, including an overtime win over Austin Peay. For Georgetown, they have had to come from behind. Their biggest rally was a 15-point deficit to Ohio State in the second round in Atlanta. Talking about substitutions, there were a total of 81 of them between the two teams in Thursday's semifinals, 52 by Providence. Underway, and Perry McDonald scores the first basket of the game for Georgetown.
And Providence College right now has got an offense that produces what I call three guys, the Main Street boys, because they shoot it from downtown.
Delray Brooks, one of the three, with the ball right now being guarded by Mark Tillman. Kipper, who's had two big games against Georgetown this year, ties the score.
They are not going to help out Georgetown against the inside people. They're going to try and stop the outside guys.
Tillman drives the length of the floor and kicks the ball out of bounds.
Georgetown tries to play a tempo game, Dick. Create a longer game. Make you work harder. So they're taking it at you every single time they can.
Delray Brooks, who transferred from Indiana, and says the difference now is that he's playing, has worked hard to become a good outside shot, and the first foul of the game called against Ben Guillory, the Georgetown center who rarely plays more than a couple of minutes at the start of each game. And speaking of that, Ronnie Highsmith comes in for Guillory, who actually plays less than a minute in this one.
John Thompson's idea is, I'm going to play two players for 5 minutes because it produces more intensity than one player playing 10 minutes.
Highsmith is a good scorer. Got a good jump hook. They go in Jacek Duda. And traveling is called against Duda, and you can credit Dwayne Bryant with his quick double for Georgetown.
And Providence College, Dick, is a master at running zone press defenses. They really try to confuse you with different types of defenses.
Bryant, along with Tillman, two freshman starting guards. And it won't be long before they come out as well.
A 1-2-2 zone, Dick.
Perry McDonald with a left-handed hook off the rim and crashes the board, and they'll call the foul against Providence. Perry McDonald, the best inside player, even though he's 6'4". Rick Pitino in his second year has done a terrific job with Providence, and you can see his coaching background, which started at Boston University. The foul is on Duda, and Steve Wright, a 6'9" junior from Syracuse, comes in for Duda. Highsmith goes up, and they're going to call traveling against Ronnie Highsmith.
Georgetown likes to develop an inside game, too, so that they can kick the ball out and then drive to the basket.
And if they get the ball in the hands of Billy Donovan, he can handle just about any kind of pressure. Right now, Ernie Pop Lewis.
Strategy being, let the other guys bring it up the early part of the game. Lewis and Delray Brooks don't tire out Billy Donovan too early.
Lewis is averaging 12 points a game and the best three-point shooter in a group of great long-range shooters. Hits the basket, and a foul is called against the Friars.
You know, the zone press is like a warfare, Dick. You don't defend the fort, but you come out, and you come out of the jungle hard, and you pick off the sentries, and you steal their weapons.
Well, they stole Kipper, one of his 5 weapons. Right now, he commits a personal foul as Georgetown inbounds. In the corner, Tillman goes for 3 and hits. Mark Tillman, who had 7 points and 2 offensive rebounds in Georgetown's win over Kansas, makes it 5-4. Stolen by Bryant, and Bryant makes it 7-4. And pressure is paying off for the Hoyas early.
You have to find an open man, and they have such quick feet, the Georgetown guards. You better make it a good pass.
And Perry McDonald, who's good inside, was doing a defensive job in the backcourt. Kipper. Fouled by Ronnie Highsmith.
We're going to take a look at the last steal. And Kipper is the forward, and they forced the forward to take the ball up. He's not one of their better passes, and look what happens, a pickoff. But easy, too.
John Thompson, who says this team has been a real pleasant surprise for him. Each team with 2 team fouls. That personal on Highsmith is first. Missing is Pop Lewis. And now Highsmith with a rebound. 7-4 Georgetown lead. 7:35 to go first half. And a foul as Tillman fired the shot up. And another Providence foul will send Tillman to the line.
John Thompson not really worried about the shot selection of his ball club because he knows that they gang rebound, and when the shot goes up, the best chance to get a rebound is on the up quick.
Lewis commits the foul for Providence, and the fact is Rick Pitino's not concerned with a lot of fouls with his club against Georgetown either today.
One of the benefits of using so many people, Dick, is the fact that you've got 50 fouls to waste. They're going to use 10 people apiece. That's why they can afford to be so aggressive, both ball clubs.
Tillman misses the first free throw. To try to give the Hoyas a 4-point lead. 8-4 the score. Billy Donovan, who hasn't handled the ball all that much. Now, Pop Lewis.
And boy, that Georgetown defense really out there choking off the outside shots.
They're extending their man-to-man. Thompson said that Alabama didn't defend against the three-point shot that much. Lewis misses a three, and the rebound by Highsmith. Georgetown has scored 6 straight points in this game. Perry Williams. Reggie Williams, who has not yet taken a shot, misses his first of the game, out of bounds.
And boy, do those gray jerseys attack the offensive glass. And so far, Providence not getting a body on people. They really do the job.
Marty Conlon, a 6'10 freshman from Bronxville, New York. So Rick Pitino hopes that Conlon can help their inside play.
And Providence is being forced to use their big people to advance the ball.
Billy Donovan gets by Bryant. Good feed inside to Steve Wright.
Every time they penetrate, one of the Georgetown big people are going to go at Billy Donovan, so the big guys are going to be loose along the baseline. He's got to find them. That time he did.
Reggie Williams, averaging over 23.5 points a game.
Georgetown in a 2-3 zone.
And a bad pass inside, and Reggie Williams saves it. It was a low pass to Perry McDonald, and Reggie Williams quickly converted it to a basket. 10-6 the score. And Georgetown just not letting Providence get those three-pointers off easily. Wide open from the corner is Marty Conlon.
And John Thompson was most worried about Marty Conlon and David Kipper, knowing that they were going to be open. They hit the shots. John Thompson will have to rethink his defensive philosophy here.
10-8 the score. The Hoyas lead. 15:40 remaining in the first half. Dick Stockton and Tom Heisen. Southeast Regional Final here in Louisville. Bryant had a screen from Highsmith. Conlon stays with him. Tillman in the lane. Donovan. Georgetown gets back defensively.
Providence runs on average.
Conlon inside, basket, good, and a foul. And now the Friars have come back to tie this game at 10 apiece, and will have a chance to take the lead as reinforcements come in the game.
They're not going to get any help from the outside, so when the ball goes inside, look at it, it's wide open. There's nobody dropping back to help out. They want to stay to help against the three-point shooters, so there'll be one-on-one action by players like Conlon and Steve Wright.
Into the ball game is Jonathan Edwards, one of 3 substitutes for John Thompson. Charles Smith, a 6-foot sophomore guard, has been a good offensive threat, is also in there along with Bobby Winston in the backcourt. So new guard tandem for Georgetown. Meanwhile, Carlton Screen, a freshman, in the game for Providence. Here's Smith, a good offensive threat. Has his shot blocked from behind. Abdul Shamsuddin in the game makes the block. Conlon misses. Screen, the freshman from Brooklyn, gets the ball and takes too many steps.
Providence College likes to come up on the fast break, take it to the middle of the court, wait for you to drop back, and then they'll kick it out for the three-pointer.
Providence has a 1-point lead early here in the first half. And so far, Marty Conlon off the bench has scored 5 of the 7 points that Providence has amassed. Georgetown's bench has yet to score. So the new backcourt, Charles Smith and Bobby Winston in the backcourt. Reggie Williams along with Jonathan Edwards. And in the ball game is Jaron Jackson.
Providence has changed their defense. And a 1-3-1.
Smith in the lane puts Georgetown in front.
moved the ball very nicely. And Smith, when they can establish an inside game, they'll kick it back out to him, and he can hit the outside shot for Georgetown.
Donovan and Carlton Screen, the two guards. Darrell Wright is in the ball game.
Georgetown in the 2-3 zone. They're pretty stable. They either play man-to-man or pretty much 2-3 zone, Georgetown.
Abdul Shamsuddin, 6'10", from Staten Island. Only a freshman, one of 3 freshmen on Pitino's team, and the pass is picked off by Reggie Williams to Jaren Jackson underneath. Blocked inside by Shamsuddin and followed up by Jonathan Edwards for Georgetown.
When you attack the basket like Georgetown does, you just never get a chance to block out those rebounders.
And Rick Pitino is going to bring back 4 players, including Jacek Duda and Delray Brooks in a moment.
All right, the center just jumped right out there at Billy Donovan.
Jaren Jackson couldn't control. And here's Carlton Screen. Little guy has the ball knocked away by Reggie Williams. And here are more reserves coming in. Duda, Pop Lewis, and Delray Brooks coming back in along with Steve Wright for Providence.
To play the pace game that both coaches want, it's absolutely necessary that you substitute liberally. And he wants them to come out of the ball game and get a couple of minutes and then put them right back in again. Both coaches, same idea.
Pop Lewis just inside the three-point line. That's unusual. Normally, Rick Pitino says we don't want anything from the paint out to the three-point line. We want to take the shot either inside or outside.
Here's a different defense by Providence now. It was a 1-2 zone press. Confusing you, that's what I call Providence.
Reggie Williams misses from the corner, and that's one of the Hoyas, one of the Friars' big hopes today. 14-13, Georgetown. Kipper against Allen, a good shot blocker, and the basket is good, and a foul, and a fine move by David Kipper, the senior from Kitchener, Ontario, who has scored 19 and 18 in 2 games against the Hoyas this year.
Georgetown guards usually come back in and help, but you watch now Kipper come up to the foul line. Everybody's out on Billy Donovan on all the outside shooters. He's got perfect angle to drive to the basket. Nobody's going after him. It's one-on-one inside.
Allen, the foul. That's the 4th team foul against Georgetown. And a 3-point play by David Kipper. Perry McDonald comes back in for Georgetown. And going out is Jaren Jackson for the Hoyas. Providence by 2. They beat the pressure. And Smith is tripped and fouled, and they call the foul against Delray Brooks.
Once you beat the gamble part of the press, where they're trying to put two men on the ball, once you get past that part of the defense, the advantage turns to the offense. You end up with fast break opportunities, 3-on-1, 2-on-1s, that type of thing. Both teams will be attacking the hoop.
You saw Carlton Screen, the freshman from Brooklyn, who did not play in the team's last meeting because of a knee injury. And Donovan and Brooks had to play Iron Man work in the backcourt. And he'll take a lot of the pressure off the starting guards for Providence.
2-3 zone by Providence.
Smith, good offensive performer off the bench for the Hoyas. Williams goes for 3 and hits. Reggie Williams, who hit 76 three-point shots, puts Georgetown in front by 1. We've had 5 lead changes with 12 minutes, 15 seconds to go in this first half. Big East battle for the right to go to New Orleans in the Final 4. Screen has his shot blocked. Kicked out of bounds. It's still Providence ball.
And you saw how Allen just went to the penetration. Kipper was open underneath the basket, and Screen, the freshman, could not find him for the pass.
Allen said yesterday, I try to destroy the order of an offense, and he did on that sequence. Minutes remaining in the first half. Off the screen, Pop Lewis for 3, misses. Providence not clicking on the 3-point attempt so far.
They're really being challenged out there with a hand in their face. There's a gray jersey up against their jersey.
Kipper gets the pass and is fouled. I want to correct the time. It's just under 12 minutes remaining in the half as Carlton's screen goes out of the ball game.
Here's the last three-pointer, Dick, and you watch the hand in the face. They set up a double screen to try and get their good outside shooter, one of the Main Street boys, open, and there's a hand in their face.
Reggie Williams on the foul, the 15th foul against Georgetown. Hoyas lead by 1. Winston really doing a terrific job on Pop Lewis around the three-point line. In fact, all of the Georgetown players keeping the likes of Brooks and Donovan and Lewis out of shooting range. They go inside to Steve Wright. They've got to hit that shot inside when they cut off the outside bomb.
He was absolutely wide open, and the lone defender down there was only about 6'2". No chance to stop him.
18-17 Providence. Smith misses. Perry McDonald. What a fantastic inside player. Has his shot blocked by Steve Wright and taken down by Pop Lewis of Providence. A little more than halfway remaining in this first half. Wright with a lay-in.
They are tearing them apart on the inside, the Friars.
20-17, and right now Providence has its biggest lead. Reggie Williams misses. Smith follows. And they'll call a foul against, I believe, Steve Wright of the Friars.
Georgetown had 4 offensive players on the glass that time, and Smith, a guard on the offensive board. Here you go. I mean, that's tough gang rebounding. Watch how relentless this ball club is on the boards. Look at McDonald do it, and Smith, the guard, just pick his spot, carve out some territory, put it back off the glass. I mean, that is a relentless rebounding.
The two freshmen who started the game, Mark Tillman and Dwayne Bryan, check back in for Georgetown. 10:25 remaining in the first half. There's Williams getting his own rebound, blocked by Steve Wright, out of bounds.
One of the things that they were concerned about, Rick Pitino, was don't let Reggie Williams rebound his own shot. Look at him just slide inside, have the shot blocked by Wright.
Tillman misses a three-point attempt, and so far Providence has blocked 4 shots by Georgetown inside. Williams, who hit a 3 earlier, misses, but there's Perry McDonald, and that basket will count, and a foul.
That Perry McDonald is some kind of horse underneath there. I mean, does he carve out room? He's one of those small, wide bodies that gets where he wants when he wants.
You know, a lot of people may not realize, as you look at Perry McDonald, a lot of people know he's a 2-time Golden Gloves champ. I don't know how many people know that he was recruited by the University of Nebraska, Tommy, as a defensive end in football.
I'd have to cover him on a down-and-out pattern.
He has 5 points and 5 rebounds. And we're tied at 20.
Man-to-man going on right now by Georgetown.
Wide open inside is Wright, and he's fouled. Once again, they're leaving the Providence center open. Steve Wright.
That was one heads-up play on any penetration. The Georgetown big guy is stepping to it and leaving Wright or Kipper or Conlon open. And you watch how open he is. There's Jefferson stepping through, and he's wide open. And it took an awful long time for the weak side man to come over and help out on that play. But even with his quick feet, he just about got there.
Foul was on McDonald, and each team now with 6 team fouls. And so the next foul by each club will put the other in the bonus as Darrell Wright, the sophomore from New York City, comes in for Pop Lewis. And right now, Steve Wright has 7 points to lead Providence. Williams and McDonald have 5 each for Georgetown.
This is pretty disciplined offense by the Friars. You know, you think they're bombers from the outside with no conscience, but they're using that threat effectively to score inside. you're going to see really what Georgetown's trying to do right here graphically. The two defenders circled there are out protecting against the three-point bomb. The man guarding Billy Donovan to the right of your screen, he's going to have to play out. He normally helps on the inside, and watch what happens. They extend, and the ball is easily inside, and before anybody can get back down to help out, the shot is away. The inside game effectively working for Providence.
But the outside game so far, John Thompson's Hoyas are 2 for 5 from three-point range. Providence, surprisingly, is 0 for 3.
Most teams say, prove it to me that you can beat me from the outside. What Thompson's saying, prove it to me that you can beat me from inside.
Bryant nearly lost the ball. Gets it across. 9:40 remaining in the first half. Providence 22, Georgetown 20 in a Big East regional final here in the Southeast. Edwards is short on the inside hook. Steve Wright gets the rebound. Wright has 8 points so far. It has been the tough big man, although he did not start the game. Now an offensive foul has been called against Delray Brooks of Providence. That'll be his second foul. Rebounding story shows Georgetown with the edge, Tom.
Well, the ratio is, the most important ratio is offensive rebounds to defensive rebounds of Providence, and they're way ahead, as they have been in this tournament. That's where they do their most damage.
The officials today are Joe Forte, Dick Paparo, and Paul Galvan. Williams guarded by Kipfer. Now Donovan on Bryant. Man-to-man defense. Actually, it may be a matchup zone. Williams hits from outside, and now 7 points for Reggie Williams, and he's hit 1 3-point.
He is their shooter, boy, and they turn him light. He's got the green light to go anytime he thinks he's got the shot.
Providence has already used 10 players, Georgetown 11. So they went to their bench early as expected. Darrell Wright. Kipfer inside or right, off balance, gets his own rebound, and they're going to call goaltending, or is it up? You know, one official, Paparo, called a goaltend, and the other official, Galvan, said it was offensive interference. They're going to count the basket and give it to Steve Wright.
Steve Wright is wide open. Good seal off that time. Barry McDonald tries to help out, but there it is, being swiped off by a guard, Tillman. What is he doing up there swiping balls off the rim?
Interchangeable parts, Georgetown. They're all over the place. Highsmith back in the game. Marty Conlon comes back for Providence. And Tillman now with 6 points. He's averaged nearly 10 a game this year.
Do they take it strong to the hoop, the Georgetown guards?
Now, it's one thing Oklahoma didn't do against Iowa's pressure yesterday. Almost a great save by Reggie Williams, and a great play and a recovery by Steve Wright, who has 12 points and has been the heart and soul of the Friars early on. 26-24 the score in favor of Providence, and traveling calls against Highsmith of Georgetown.
Confusing you, did it again. They confused Highsmith. He thought the man was going to be open, and Billy Donovan was hiding behind him, and all of a sudden he caused the walking violation.
There's Carlton Screen, who alternates at both guard positions, replacing Delray Brooks, who's averaging 15 a game, but Brooks has yet to score in this one. And yet, it's 26-24 Providence with 7:48 to go in the first half. Donovan inside the right, and Perry McDonald has the rebound. Reggie Williams misses a 2-point attempt. Screen can't save it, and it's Georgetown ball. Pure hustle by Perry McDonald.
What makes them so effective, Georgetown, on the board is that Perry McDonald is a super leaper for 6'4", and the guards are extraordinarily great leapers on the board.
Anthony Allen, the shot blocker, comes in. The scorer, Charles Smith, also checks in for John Thompson as Highsmith and Tillman exit the game. Winston inbounded. Just got it in time. And Williams got a gift, and he's fouled going to the hoop. The Friars with over 17 fouls, and Reggie Williams will go to the free throw line, where he hit 16 of 18 in Thursday night semifinal against Kansas.
Georgetown at times fumbles the ball around quite a bit, but somehow or other they seem to come up with the points. This man sitting down on the bench there, if Red Auerbach were coaching college basketball, it would be John Thompson. He's incorporated so many of the theories and practices of Red Auerbach that he learned way back when he was a high school player and a college player, and then 2 years with the Celtics.
Foul was on Darrell Wright. Georgetown with the pressure. We're tied at 26. Our 5th tie of this first half with 7:20 remaining. Jacek Duda in the ball game, along with Conlon and Darrell Wright. Anthony Allen knocked out of bounds. It's still Providence ball, and quickly another substitution. Steve Wright, who has scored 12 points, comes in for Duda.
Just a little bit of rest for Steve Wright because he's been very effective in there. Good positioning and getting himself open.
Also checking in the game is Sam Jefferson, a freshman from Washington, is 6'9", and his job basically is to give Reggie Williams a breather, and so far Williams has scored 9.
Well, you're going to go wacky getting all these subs in here today.
Already has.
You know who's impressed me so far? Billy Donovan has forced nothing, has created an awful lot.
Except just then on the turnover. And then a double turnover. Carlton screen. Takes it strong to the hook against 2 Georgetown defenders. He's only 6 foot tall and a freshman. And now it's 28-26 Providence. 6:45 to go.
That's pretty interesting play. Marty Conlon guarding Winston. 6'10" out there on the press, moving his feet. Very effective.
And what's really interesting about this game is that the 2 Providence starting guards, who account for 59% of their offense, have not scored yet, and Providence has the lead. McDonald misses the shot, screen the rebound.
Boy, he threw that one up there like a brick.
Darrell Wright for 3, and the first 3-point basket of the game for the Friars.
That is their normal offense, Dick. Penetrate and kick it out for the 3-point play. John Thompson changing his defense a little bit.
A reminder that later today, Syracuse and North Carolina will decide things in the East. And coming up at halftime, we'll have a live report on that game coming up from Brent Musburger and Billy Packer. Plus, James Brown will examine the drug testing issue in this year's tournament, how it's working out so far. Right now, let's go back to Louisville. Dick and Tommy.
Thank you very much, Jim. In Providence with a 5-point lead. That's the biggest lead either team has enjoyed so far, and you can credit the Providence bench, which has outscored Georgetown's reserves to the tune of 22-4. Steve Wright has 12 points for the Friars with just under 6 minutes to go in the first half.
Providence in a 2-3 zone.
And Reggie Williams is back in the ball game, along with Jaren Jackson for the Hoyas. Jackson inside has his shot blocked by Steve Wright. That's the 5th block by Providence in this game, and Carlton screen on the other end scores.
Both teams on block shots. That's the green light to go and take it strong to the hoop on a fast break.
The Friars have scored 7 straight points, breaking a 26-all tie. Smith loses the ball inside, and a Georgetown foul. And right now, the Friars have taken control of the game.
We're going to see a nice defensive play now by Steve Wright, the second man on the penetrator. And look how quickly Donovan looks up, catches screen, his teammate guard, and it's off and up and in. They don't waste a second.
Green, who gave Providence tremendous impetus when he was in there, goes out. Delray Brooks returns. The foul is on Reggie Williams, and there is Brooks, who, like his backcourt partner, Donovan, has yet to score. And on the line is Darrell Wright.
He's going to be one of those Main Street boys next year, I think. He's getting his outside game going. You know, hit that shot from downtown. Right now, I think he's still in the suburbs.
He'll move in. There's Perry McDonald coming back into the ball game, and Mark Tillman will follow for Georgetown. Speaking about Darrell Wright, Tommy, he had a prime effort against Alabama in the Friars' shocking 21-point win over favored Crimson Tide Thursday night in the semifinals. He scored 13 points in 12 minutes, so it looks like he can get the scoring done.
I think he can score. He can take it strong to the hoop, but what makes it so interesting for Rick Pitino is that he's got quick feet to use on the press.
9 in a row reeled off by Providence. to take a 9-point lead, and they'll call the foul against Darrell Wright. And Georgetown will go to the line to shoot one in the bonus.
You know, facing the zone press, Dick, is like trying to find your way through a labyrinth. Only every time you have to do it running. And every mistake you have to go back to start all over again. And while you're going back to start all over again, they change the escape route. I mean, it drives you crazy when you're trying to beat a press.
And, you know, you're the first analyst to ever use the word labyrinth with me, and that's because you're a cultured and educated man, Holy Cross, and you're a good painter, too.
I'm going to tell you what. I know what Hoya means.
Not many people do. And that foul will be called against Georgetown, and Billy Donovan hit the deck. He's a tough kid.
You know what Hoya means? Rock. That's my old Holy Cross song. It said, give another Hoya and a choo-choo rah-rah. And I interpreted it to mean, throw a stone and cheer.
All right, throw a stone and do this one.
As Donovan going down on the floor, everybody trying to block people out for rebounds, but they knocked Billy the Kid down.
Foul is on Winston, and Donovan gets his first point of the ball game. Donovan averaging 21 points a game, and with a tremendous contest, scoring 26 against Alabama. And by the way, in that Alabama game, Donovan broke Ernie DiGregorio's career assist mark at Providence.
Now, don't count Georgetown out. They score them in bunches, and no lead is safe with either one of these teams.
Tillman hits the jumper. No one's going to count them out. They were down by 15, the Hoyas were, to Ohio State in the second half, and came back and won that very tough second-round game in Atlanta. But Providence ran off 11 in a row before Tillman's basket, and the Friars are shooting 67% as Allen commits the foul for Georgetown.
Providence very patient, inbounded the ball, and then they really have kept their poise against the press of Georgetown as they try to vary their press defense with a 1-2-2 zone press. So both teams having to recognize changes of defense.
What about Providence's shooting? They broke a regional shooting record with 69% against Alabama, and now they're shooting 67% against Georgetown. So they're having two red-hot shooting games thus far.
Here's what Billy Donovan sees coming up the court. Lots of people standing in front of him, ready to attack him with the ball.
And now they're using Conlon, and the long pass to Tillman. Tillman misses the shot. Harry McDonald with a fake. Tipped up. Georgetown had several chances to score, and they couldn't.
But the long bomb pass that time is a desperation pass. It means that Providence's defense is getting to Georgetown.
Brooks couldn't hold on, and the turnover gives the ball back to the Hoyas with 4:43 remaining in the first half. 39-28, an 11-point lead for Providence, who lost 2 out of 3 to Georgetown in the regular season. No basket, a foul before the shot. Billy Donovan. And for Donovan, that's his first personal foul.
Every once in a while, Dick, they get out of the organized formula defenses like the 2-3 zones, and they just have a scramble defense where they'll double team you and trap you any place on the court. That's what keeps you guessing.
Coming up at halftime, Jim Nance, James Brown, a live report from the East region where North Carolina will be playing Syracuse later today, and a report on drug testing as well. Reggie Williams, 3 of 10 from the field. And they've been calling this team Reggie and the Miracles. Reggie right now with 11-point leading scorer for the Hoyas. Steve Wright with 12 still leads Providence.
Billy Donovan handling the ball more and more after most of the other small people for Providence did in the early stages.
Carlton Screen, who replaced Delray Brooks. Kipper, high off the glass, misses, and the rebound by Reggie Williams. 39-30 with 4:12 remaining. Williams, the three, his second of the game. And all of a sudden, it's a 6-point Providence lead.
Buckle in, Dick. Buckle up.
Trapping is Williams, and they're going to call a foul on Reggie. If it is, it'll be number 3 on Georgetown senior star. 3 personals now on Reggie Williams, and John Thompson has a decision to make here.
He is absolutely the one guy they can't lose because he provides so much of the inspiration and offense when they need it. He's their go-to guy.
Back in the game is Abdul Shamsuddin, the 6'10 freshman, and the revolving door continues. Screen hits the free throw, and Sam Jefferson will come into the ball game now. Reggie Williams had a word or two for Paul Galvin, and will go out with 3 personal fouls and 14 points.
Now who is going to shoulder the offensive load for Georgetown? Very interesting.
Back in the ball game. Into the ball game for the first time is Brian Benham, a sophomore from Carterville, Georgia. Providence has hit all 12 of their shots from the free throw line. And they lead 41-33.
Let Bobby Winston bring it up against the forward.
Inside, McDonald misses. Green gets the loose ball. 3:40 remaining in the first half.
Georgetown has had some very easy shots and have missed them.
Screen inside, and they'll call a foul against Winston, and Screen will go to the line where Providence has yet to miss.
Going to see a great bounce pass coming up the court as the big man, Seed, has to move over. Look at him. He looks right around. As McDonald with the left hand, he should have made that shot. You can't get easier shots than that.
Jaron Jackson into the ball game, and Carlton Screen, who had all kinds of injuries this year, including knee injury that kept him out of the Big East tournament. This was a surprise. That graphic showing Providence's scoring output in this game not coming from the backcourt duo of Delray Brooks and Billy Donovan.
He was missing in that one game, Dick, when they played, I guess it was in the tournament, and Rick Pitino felt that Screen would have made a difference in the tournament game.
He has given the guards rest here. 3:20 remaining, first half. 10-point Providence lead. Georgetown led by 4 points early. Friars scored 11 in a row at one point. Allen goes up, and he's fouled. Anthony Allen is fouled inside by David Kipfer, and that'll be the second on Kipfer.
When you have a Reggie Williams and you're trying to make a comeback, he's the guy you would ordinarily go to. Right now, I think Georgetown's searching out to find a player that can assume the offensive load. They're trying to do it within the system instead of using one player.
Marty Conlon comes in for Kipfer, and right now the top scorer on the floor for Georgetown would have to be Perry McDonald.
Well, he's had many opportunities inside, but he's missed some easy ones too.
Allen. Darrell Wright came in for Providence. Substitutions, we've had 42 so far in the ball game.
Soft man-to-man press now by Georgetown. It gets backing off Billy Donovan a little bit.
Jonathan Edwards, a good rebounder. Number 42 is in there, and almost a steal by Mark Tillman. They're all over the court, all of them, popping out from nowhere.
Georgetown played man-to-man that time, and Providence picked it up with a little errant pass. There was a man open.
2:55 on the clock in the first half. Providence has had most of the lead the last 11 minutes of this first half. And a three-point shot by Darrell Wright, his second of the ball game.
And they are dropping that defense back, Georgetown, to protect against the penetration, and it's opening up the three-point plays the way Providence likes.
And Georgetown looks a bit ragged, which is not the way it normally goes for this team. Their biggest lead of the game, 11, 46-35. Tillman, and the possession arrow is going to favor Providence right now on the tie-up as Charles Smith comes back into the ball game for Georgetown.
They double-team Donovan down in there to take away his penetration, and look at the man wide open right at the head of the key.
Smith in the ball game now, so Georgetown will have Smith and McDonald as possible offensive threats. Trailing by 11. Providence can open up their biggest lead. Conlon, and he'll be called for too many steps. Turns it over with 2:09 to go in the first half. Surprised by this first half so far?
Yes, I am. I think Providence has responded beautifully to the type of defense that Georgetown used against them. The inside players of Providence really produced. But they better watch out now because Georgetown's gambling back on the inside.
Jaron Jackson throws the ball away. Billy Donovan. And at the baseline, Carlton's screen is fouled by Jonathan Edwards and will go to the line.
Providence is playing with such poise, and Donovan and even the freshman screen are reading the defenses just the way they're supposed to be. They know what's open, and they're taking advantage of it.
So Carlton's screen, who has been a 71% free throw shooter, goes to the line where Providence has yet to miss from the line today. They're perfect 14 out of 14. And as the minute I say it, comes up short.
Oh, you know how that goes. This kid, Carlton Scene, though, screen is an excellent penetrator, and before his career is over, he's going to be shooting three-pointers, too.
47-35, biggest lead of the game right now for Providence with 1:55 to go, and Georgetown throws it away again.
A big man had to come up to help to become an outlet, and you can't throw the ball down around his feet. He just can't bend down and pick it up.
John Thompson is awfully quiet and subdued at the Georgetown bench this half.
Got his towel laying on the floor, too. That's unusual. It's usually draped over his shoulder.
Darrell Wright, another three-pointer. 3 for Darrell Wright on an afternoon in which Brooks and Donovan are not doing it offensively. And a 15-point bulge for Providence. And a steal by Screen. Conlon. And right now, Providence is making a shambles of this game, leading 52-35 with 1:20 to go in the half.
Confusing you. It's really got everybody wondering where the open man is for Georgetown.
One minute remaining and 25 on the shot clock. Now 10 seconds on the clock. Bryant. And now the shot clock is off with 36 seconds to go and running. 52-37. But keep in mind, Georgetown has come from behind so many times. That's not the way they prefer, but that's what they've had to handle.
This kid with the ball right now, Screen, has done an outstanding job for a freshman, orchestrating a lot of good offense.
Great bench work for Providence. 15 seconds remaining in the first half. Donovan. And inside, Shamsuddin, and he'll go to the line. Tommy, the score in this game was tied at 26-26. And since then, Providence has gone on a run where they've outscored Georgetown 26-11 to open up this lead with 8 seconds to go.
The difference between the two teams pressing-wise, Dick, is that Georgetown doesn't change up their defenses as many times, I think, as Providence College does. And as a consequence, they outthink you and confuse you and make you make mistakes. And if you try to pick up what they're doing all the time, Providence, you lose the tempo of your game. So Georgetown forcing the pace against confusion.
Reggie Williams, who has 3 personals, comes back in the game with 8 seconds to go, and you saw Dave Smedeker and Brian Benham come in. So a chance for Rick Pitino really to give a lot of people a lot of rest here, getting set for what he expects will be a tremendous assault by the Hoyas in the second half. Here's a sophomore guard, Ryan Ford, from Olean, New York, who's in the game for the final seconds. Shamsuddin on the line. Edwards committed the last foul. 8 seconds to go. 54-37. 17-point lead for Providence. And who anticipated this? Williams misses at the buzzer. A shocking first half. Rick Pitino's Providence Friars with a huge lead over the top-seeded Georgetown Hoyas. End of the first half with the score. Providence 54, Georgetown 37. CBS Sports coverage will continue after this message and a word from your local station.
CBS Sports coverage of the NCAA basketball champion.
It's a shocking score in the Southeast Regional in Louisville. 54-37. Providence 17 up at halftime. And back in New York, Jim Nantz along with James Brown. JB, this first half, Providence only 4 points from Donovan and Brooks and still leading by 17. What's happening here?
Give Coach Rick Pitino a lot of credit for having a good game plan. He said that the inside game is going to have to be effective in order for them to do the job against Georgetown. It's very effective. I like the fact that Donovan and Brooks are not trying to force their individual efforts at all. They're calm and poised and looking for the inside guys and getting them the ball.
A little overplay maybe on the outside. Georgetown seems afraid of that three-point capability of Providence, and the Friars have been taking it to the inside with success. All right, Georgetown has squandered several opportunities. Here's the biggest one of all. The missed layup by Tillman. McDonald follows and misses. Then Anthony Allen doesn't get it. Rebound Providence. And that kind of tells the story in the first half. A 17-point lead. Also, Reggie Williams, when he went out with his third foul, was a 6-point game.
Really shows how important Reggie Williams is to this Georgetown team. He's a calming influence. They need him on the floor.
All right, I'm sure John Thompson has a lot of things to say at halftime. Of course, Georgetown's a great second-half ball club. Second game of our doubleheader today is...
Well, even if you believe anything is possible in college basketball, you have to be shocked by the 17-point lead that Providence has over Georgetown right now, 54-37. At the outset, Tom, you said that you expected Georgetown to extend their defense and saying it's going to be the inside game for Providence to beat them. And what happened?
I'll tell you exactly that happened, and Providence produced them and all their inside people, Wright and Duda and Conlon. But really what amazed me is that Billy the Kid did not read his press clippings, nor did Delray Brooks. They played to take advantage of what was there. They didn't force anything.
All right, quickly, let's take a look at these statistics. Look at the shooting percentage, 65% to only 35%. Bench scoring, a big edge for Providence, as Steve Wright scored 12, Darrell Wright 11. The three-point shot, Providence lives by it. And they only have 3. Georgetown has 3. Tommy, what does Georgetown do in second half now?
I bet you they're going to change their defensive posture. They're going to go and choke off the inside and say, beat us from outside. And then Billy Donovan and Delray Brooks may have to win it coming down the stretch.
Reggie Williams has 14 points to lead the Hoyas, and he also is saddled with 3 personal fouls. Williams in the game along with Charles Smith. Also in there is Dwayne Bryant. Anthony Allen starts along with Perry McDonald as Bryant is fouled by Lewis. Georgetown has come back this many times, that's 8 times, to win this year, including a 15-point deficit against Ohio State in the first minute of the second half of their second-round matchup.
They are a comeback team. They really, as John Thompson says, you count up the score at the end of the game. Where we are at any point is meaningless. It's where it is at the end, because he counts on wearing you down a little bit, except the Big East teams know he counts on that.
Lewis with his 3rd personal foul. Bryant hits them both. It's 54-39. Billy Donovan against the pressure of Dwayne Bryant. Brooks, who has not taken the shot. Lewis hits a 3. A 3-point shot by Pop Lewis. That's his 94th three-pointer of the year. That's an amazing number.
Look at the pressure by Providence College now. They're not sinking back, and they're going to still continue to be aggressive themselves.
The lead is 18. It gets bigger for Providence.
2-3 zone by Providence.
Williams, and all over him is Pop Lewis. Reggie Williams hits his first shot of the second half. He is 5 for 13 from the field.
You notice that time Lewis did not go up to try and block the shot. He stayed on the floor just to stay there to block him off the board should Williams have missed.
Lewis with 3 fouls, 57-41. was Duda who started the game and came out early. And they're going to call a foul on Charles Smith. Notice how Georgetown plays the passing lanes, makes it so difficult for Providence.
They are in your jersey, and it's only one step to get into the passing lanes. And they do it well.
Coming into today, these were the three-point field goal percentages. Lewis, with now 94 three-point shots, to only 39 two-point shots this year.
That's what I call the Main Street boys. From straight downtown, those four players of Providence.
Kipper turns it over on a travel. And Rick Pitino is off the bench.
Oh, you know, when he says, you don't have to be an accountant to say that 33%, 33.33% of three-point plays is the same as 50% of two-point plays.
He ought to give you tax returns before April 15th if he knows those kind of percentages. Nearly 2 minutes gone by. Steal and a good play by Kipper, anticipating that pass inside.
A little life out of the step of the Georgetown players right now.
Lewis has no shot. Williams is on Kipper. Knocked out of bounds. Smith knocks it out of bounds. Coming up next, the top-seeded team in the East Regional, North Carolina against Syracuse. Another Big East team in the Final 8. Kipper. 59-41, again an 18-point lead for the Friars. We nearly got the ball back. Bryant, Smith for three. And Georgetown crashes the boards, and they're going to call it on Pop Lewis, and that'll be number 4 on Lewis.
Lewis tried to help out and do a little gang rebounding of his own that time to really sandwich him. Kipper, you're going to see in this play, it's one-on-one with no help because they're all out playing the guards of Providence, so he can lift the man. Those fakes will work. Nobody's going to bother him but his own defender.
Ernie Lewis goes out with 4 fouls. He has scored 7 points. And into the game is Darrell Wright. Marty Conlon also has checked into the ball game for Providence as Kipper gets a breather. Georgetown is going to need offense from Smith, Williams, and Perry McDonald.
He uses zone defense against Georgetown. It's pretty good because it helps you on the glass, the defensive rebounds, and there's not too many of the Georgetown players that can hit from outside.
Williams misses. Smith to Bryant for 3. Conlon, the rebound for Providence. Into the hands of Billy Donovan. Wright has hit 3 three-point shots. Got out of the trap nicely.
You have to admire Brooks and Donovan. They have forced no shots.
And Conlon goes in, and they'll call the offensive foul against Providence as Conlon knocked Bryant down. We understand that you may be having problems with your picture. It is not your television sets at home, and we are working on correcting that problem. 16:42 remaining in the second half, and the lead is 18 for the Friars. In the other half of the bracket in the NCAA Championship, tomorrow Indiana against LSU, UNLV and Iowa, and those teams will meet next Saturday in the national semifinals. Tommy, you see Georgetown doing anything differently defensively starting this half?
They are playing exactly the same way that they did in the first half, trying to choke off the three-point play and letting the inside guys of Providence try and do it.
Smith. And Anthony Allen on the air ball by Smith scores. 59-43. Still very early here in the second half. Inside Steve Wright, short on that one, and Bobby Winston gets the rebound. And a whistle and a foul for Providence. They're going to call the 2-shot foul, deliberate foul called against the Friars, and that will send Winston to the line, I believe, for 2.
Anthony Allen will do the job on the offensive glass. There's a couple of Friars attacking the penetration. That leaves Anthony Allen on the inside. The young player, Marty Conlon just did not have the strength to keep Allen away.
Out of the game goes Conlon. And Delray Brooks. Carlton Screen is back in along with Kipper. Steve Wright committing his second foul, and Anthony Allen, who's a 54% free throw shooter, shooting 2 here.
The reason screen is in right now, I believe, Dick, is because they will have 2 penetrators, Providence College, and Billy Donovan and Carlton Screen to take the ball to the middle and find the guys, their big men, open on the baseline.
Green has scored 9 points off the bench. Now a 14-point game. Providence established the big lead of 18 early here in the half. It's now to 14. Williams coming out to meet Wright. Good pass into Donovan. And Donovan is fouled. And will go to the line. And already, with the Friars with 14 fouls, that'll only be the second team foul against Georgetown. Anthony Allen with his 3rd personal foul.
Billy Donovan, to me, is the consummate team player right now. He has been a bona fide star for this team all year long. He's not looking for his shots. He's doing what the defense tells him he should do, and he's playing his role the way he should today to perfection.
6 for 6 from the line for Donovan, who, by the way, hit 5 3-point bombs against Alabama Thursday night in the semifinals. But Donovan has 6 points. Brooks still has not scored nor taken a shot. He's on the bench right now. 3-point attempt missed by Charles Smith. There's Reggie Williams. Tough inside defense by pesky screen of Providence.
Providence will only challenge the man with the ball. They'll drop back and try and gang rebound themselves. And I think that Georgetown will have to hit a few from the outside, or this man, Reggie Williams, starts to heat up.
18 for Reggie Williams. And it's 61 to 47. It's a 4-point lead, and that's not a big lead when you're playing Georgetown with a lot of time remaining. 15-25. Ball knocked away. Reggie Williams. It's 2-on-1. And Williams scores even though he lost control of the ball going up. 20 points for Reggie.
That was the best inside defense that Georgetown produced all game long.
And they have to separate Billy Donovan and Charles Smith. Mark Tillman is over there, and Anthony Allen. And tempers flare here with these 2 teams so familiar with each other. And now people are starting to throw things from the stands, which is the dumbest thing of all time.
There's no question about that. But when you have a rivalry that is generated and you play each other 4 times a year like this game is right now, you will see that tempers do flare, particularly when one team is seemingly up by a pretty good margin.
Joe Forte, Dick Paparo, and Paul Galvan talking it over. Let's see if we can see what happened.
Going to see the ball being stolen from Donovan, the referee, at the top of your screen. And
like Donovan pushed Smith.
And they're in, and Billy Donovan, the referee, took a little tap on the forehead, I think.
That's how it started, folks. We'll be back. We're back here at Louisville at Freedom Hall, where we had a flare-up of tempers before the last timeout called by Providence, and 2-shot technical fouls have been called, 1 on each team and 1 on each player. And Billy Donovan will be the man hit with a technical foul for Providence, and for Georgetown, it looked like Charles Smith and Donovan will take his. Smith will then take 2 shots for Georgetown. The possession arrow is pointing towards Providence right now. One out of 2 for Donovan, who's upset with that.
Here's quickly what happened again. They're going to inbound the ball, and somebody came in and stole it from Billy Donovan, and he didn't like it. Let somebody put a push.
Reggie Williams taking the technicals for the Hoyas, who have their supporters upstairs. He misses 1 out of 2. And it'll be Providence's ball following double technical foul. We apologize again for video problems we're experiencing. It is not your television sets at home, and we're endeavoring to fix it up. 62 to 50 to score in favor of Providence. The lead cut to 12. Steve Wright misses, and now Georgetown can cut it to 10 or better.
And they just keep coming at you.
Turns it over. He walks. And untimely, if there's such a description for a violation. Violation on Winston, and Providence now with a 12-point lead gets the ball again. Williams with 21 leading Georgetown. Wright with 12, still the high scorer. That's Steve Wright for Providence. Biggest lead 18 for the Friars early here in the second half. Kipper throws it away. Both teams turning the ball over continually. Winston goes in, and he'll go to the line and shoot two on a pushing foul.
That was an excellent defensive play by Billy Donovan to angle Winston off and also take away an angle for the pass to an open man on the left side of the court that would have had a layup if Winston had been able to make the pass. So he really, in essence, saved two, Dick.
Billy Donovan with his second foul, and Winston is a 65% shooter. And against Georgetown, may not be that bad of an idea to foul them because they're not a good free throw shooting team.
I think one of the reasons is that when you play such an upbeat, fast-paced game, you have the psychology of doing everything fast, and you don't calm yourself down to take the free throws the proper way.
He misses them both. And while Georgetown struggles from the line, keep in mind that in this tournament and late in the year, they did hit the clutch free throws down the stretch. We should point that out. 62 to 50. Providence looking for the big upset here. Steve Wright. And the foul is against Reggie Williams, and that's 4 on Williams. One more and he's out.
Reggie Williams a couple of minutes ago made a great defensive play in the low side of the court to pick off a pass. But now in the same type of move, he picks up Wright and commits the foul.
Delray Brooks will inbound the ball. And Williams stays in the game, although Terry McDonald is at the scorer's table. Kipper going in, and Allen blocks the shot. And it's going to be Providence ball. Last touch by Mark Tillman. Terry McDonald comes in, and Reggie Williams goes out of the game with 4 fouls.
Is the Final Four bid on the line? You bet. Watch this. A great defensive block that time by Allen. And look at the hustle, diving on the floor. That's what Georgetown's all about.
Still 62 to 50. 6 minutes gone by in the second half. Dick Stockton and Tom Heinsohn here at Freedom Hall in Louisville. One of these teams will get to the Final Four, and right now the long shot is ahead. Darrell Wright hits another three-point shot. And for Wright, that's his 4th three-point bomb of the game, and it's 65 to 50.
That's the only one they're gambling off is Darrell Wright or Pop Lewis.
And an offensive foul. Check that. Timeout called by Georgetown. Tommy, 4 three-point baskets by Darrell Wright, an unlikely source considering all the other guns Providence uses from long range.
Well, Billy Donovan knows that they're gambling off that forward to help in the inside defense. That's leaving Darrell Wright and Pop Lewis open too. That's the only man they're gambling off. Billy Donovan reading the defense like just perfectly.
He hasn't done the scoring as much as you see there. All his points coming from the line, but he has run this team the way you want your point guard to run it.
You look in the paper tomorrow and you say, boy, Georgetown shut down Billy Donovan. No way.
65 to 50. Winston looking inside. Tillman, baseline jumper. So Mark Tillman, with 10 points now, surpasses his season's average back to a 13-point lead for the Friars. Delray Brooks was yet to take a shot in this game. Came in averaging 15 on the year. Darrell Wright, basket counts and a foul, and has he done it off the bench too?
Providence College wants to establish their inside game, get your coming back in to help and then kick it back out right away. And do they do it nicely? It's into Wright. There goes the defense, drops back in. That creates an opening for Wright, Darrell Wright, to take it to the floor and make the hoop. I mean, you couldn't have executed any better than the way Rick Pitino drew it up.
Reggie Williams on the bench with 4 personal fouls has scored 21 points, but Darrell Wright scores 3 points the conventional way. And coming back in the game is Dwayne Bryant, and going out is Bobby Winston. Dick Stockton and Tom Heinsohn, Freedom Hall, Louisville, the Southeast Regional Final, and a Big East affair, and a shocker with Providence leading Georgetown by 16, and 12:50 to go in the second half. And it hasn't been the three-point bombs for the Friars. They've done it inside primarily, and their bench has been magnificent.
Georgetown has not gotten any easy baskets.
McDonald's shot blocked by Steve Wright, and just as you said it, another tough play inside.
There's a second defender laying around in there. That's Steve Wright against Perry McDonald, just waiting for block number 4.
And that's what he's got so far. Charles Smith, and they changed his shot inside, and a block on Tillman. Smith gets another chance and hits the jumper, but they're really making the Hoyas work extra hard inside.
Black and Blue State coming to life again. They're laying some bodies on there on you underneath the basket.
The lead is 14. Friars led by 18 early in this half. It was cut to 12. Steve Wright's shot is blocked by Anthony Allen. Great play by Allen, who's really a premier shot blocker. Turnaround shot by Steve Wright, and misses. And a foul called against Wright, I believe, Steve Wright of Providence.
A foul is on Kipper, number 15.
Kipper on the Donovan coming into the penetration. Steve Wright took much too long trying to make that stub shot. That allowed for the block, but Billy Donovan picked it up again.
I mean, the foul was on Kipper. Providence gets it back. And Dwayne Bryant and Darrell Wright got hooked up for the moment. The Georgetown Hoyas, who want to go to the Final Four for the 4th time in 6 years, find themselves behind here.
Intensity, intensity. Both clubs have it. Here they come up with the ball, and there they are tying each other up, and it wasn't a jump ball.
Bryant committed that previous foul. And now timeout is called. Team fouls. Georgetown has 5 and Providence 6. So the next foul against Providence, and Georgetown will shoot the bonus.
If Georgetown can bring this lead down to about 10 to 8 points with about 6 minutes to go, watch out.
They brought it down to 12 with an 8-2 run early here in this half. And then the Friars open it up again.
That's one of the things where Providence has an advantage over most of the other teams that have played Georgetown in this tournament, is that they know what they can expect from Georgetown down the stretch.
And who would have expected Delray Brooks not to attempt any shots at this stage and not score, of course, Donovan with only 7. In and out for Steve Wright, and the rebound by Anthony Allen, and a chance for Georgetown to cut the lead to 12.
The inside game of Providence starting to go astray a little bit.
11:35 remaining in the second half. Tillman with a 3-point attempt misses, but Allen forced it up in a hurry on the follow-up. And here's Brooks. Brooks for 3. This is his first attempt of the ball game. One thing Rick Pitino never does is tell his team not to shoot. He gives them the freedom.
Well, they can't be concerned about Delray Brooks. He really has contained himself and played within the game plan. That time he had a wide open shot. That's his. Take it.
68-54. Providence over Georgetown.
Find the hot hand.
Will it be Smith? Perry McDonald. Reggie Williams is on the bench with 4 fouls. Tillman misses. Good defense. Donovan avoided the charging foul beautifully.
And 4 jerseys he dribbled out of, too, with the quickest hands in the Big East.
He could have gone right into Bryant and didn't. 10.5 coming up now. Winner goes to New Orleans in the Final Four. Tipper wide open. 20 on the shot clock. Donovan finds the open man, Darrell Wright, for the easy basket.
Every time somebody on the bottom line of the Georgetown defense goes to penetration, Billy Donovan finds that open man.
And Darrell Wright is 6 for 6 from the field and 19 points to lead the Friars. Charles Smith comes back and hits 3. And it's 70-57.
John Thompson wasn't just kidding when he wanted Smith to start shooting. He's going to need it here with Reggie Williams on the bench.
Smith had a career-high 22 against Ohio State in the second round. Tipper misses. Brooks saves it nicely to Donovan. Donovan on a runner. And Billy Donovan with his first field goal of the ball game. And it gives the Friars a 72-57 lead. 9:25 remaining, second half. 3-point Smith, no good. And a foul called against Providence. Big basket by Donovan, and Brooks helped him.
You're going to see the good hustle play by Delray Brooks. Look at this, 1 foot up and alertly gets it way out to Billy. And look at what he does. Put it in, gets in the pocket, and goes up with the shooting hand wide open.
Darrell Wright has picked up his third personal foul, and the Friars 17 foul, and Tillman will go to the line, and the bonus time for Georgetown. As Darrell Wright with 19 points, he came into the game, Tommy, averaging just under 6 points a game, and he has been a tremendous hero for Providence with 4 3-point baskets off the bench. Into the game, Ronnie Highsmith for the Hoyas.
Now, John Thompson right now saying Highsmith has got to help control the boards, and we got to get it to Reggie. And within the next 3 minutes, we have got to get it down to in the 8-point range.
Duda in the game. With Reggie Williams is still on the bench with those. No, he's back in now, Tommy. You're right. Comes back in the ball game. Harry McDonald hits the first one.
Now, Duda is a fresh player for Providence. If he can give him a little bit of offense, it might be very important right now with Wright, who I think has really shouldered a tremendous burden for Providence.
1 out of 2 for McDonald.
Steve Wright went cold, though, Dick.
72-58. And a save by Tillman. Harry McDonald. Open was Reggie Williams for 3. Duda gets the rebound. Lewis had beaten everyone down court for Providence.
Oh, that Tillman, he got a pair of hands for stealing the ball.
Georgetown foul.
Now, Billy Donovan is a funny dribbler. He kind of high stepper. He really doesn't bend those knees an awful lot. And you get the impression you can steal it, but most of the times he just double dribbles it right past you, quick dribbles it right past you.
Tillman with his second foul. The next foul for the Hoyas. And Providence will shoot the bonus, leading 72-58, 8:40 to go. What thus far has been a perfect game plan executed by the Friars from their coach Rick Pitino in his second year at Providence. Picked to finish 6th in the Big East. Well, they're not playing like Cinderellas.
They left the shoe and they have to back from the party. This is big.
Donovan hits his second basket.
Again, he had him on his hip or his shooting hand wide open. Then he'll take the shot. What a smart player.
16-point lead. Jaron Jackson cuts it for 14 again with 8 minutes remaining in the second half. Providence still in control of this game, and Georgetown has given no indication that they're going to get that lead under 10. Providence is playing poised basketball here, and Donovan is the key to that.
Well, he's just making it happen, and all this action here, dribbling it around, is making Georgetown very anxious. They're taking good shots. Providence coming down the stretch.
Carlton screen. no basket. And an offensive foul called against Carlton's screen. Coming up next, it'll be Syracuse against North Carolina in the East Regional Final. Battle between the number 1 Carolina and number 2 seeded Orangemen for the right to go to New Orleans.
And Brooks, number 12, comes in for Billy Donovan, number 34.
Donovan goes out of the game. He'll get a breather now. Delray Brooks replaces him. Team would screen in the backcourt.
Another one of those defenses, a 2-3 zone.
Pablo playing with 4 fouls is in the game. Smith misses a three-pointer, and Ronnie Highsmith with a key follow-up, his first points of the game.
Boy, he's an awful big body for a guard to have to drop down and block off on the offensive board.
74-62 Providence. Under 7 minutes to play. Conley. And Reggie Williams cradles the ball. And a chance to cut the lead to 10.
That was good defense by Reggie Williams on Collins and not to foul Austin to his left hand.
Reggie Williams playing with 4 fouls. He has scored 21. John Thompson can't take any chances. Three-point attempt. Jaron Jackson is short, and Steve Wright clears it. So the Hoyas miss a chance to narrow it to 10.
And the freshman screen is going to run this offense.
The foul against Charles Smith will be his second foul, and it will be a shooting situation. Both teams in the bonus, and screen will go to the line. There's Billy Donovan, who will be coming in a moment, and Tillman will check in for Georgetown as well. There's Tillman. Jackson out for the Hoyas. Look at the story of the bench for Providence. Both teams use a lot of people, but the Friars have gotten the production from there.
I think their inside people off the bench were pretty productive.
Screen missed the free throw, the front end of it. Coming back for 3, Reggie Williams misses. Lewis the rebound for Providence as we wind down to 6 minutes to go. We were talking about an 8 or a 12-point deficit at this stage. It's 12, but it could be 10 real fast. Williams cuts the Providence lead to 10, 74-64, and Reggie Williams is 23 of it. This is where Providence is going to have to show their poise against the tremendous Georgetown pressure. Kipper hits a big one.
And the freshman Carlton screen really moved that ball around and took that leadership role that Billy Donovan was providing. Now he's on the sideline.
And a bad pass by Georgetown as Winston throws it away, and John Thompson says, settle down.
There is no question that when you come down the stretch, you have to get a good shot every single time. Look at this nice inside pass. Nobody could get to Kipper quite quick enough.
Also in the game, Darryl Wright.
Billy Donovan back in the ball game. For Providence. Anthony Allen is in for Georgetown. And Jacek Duda. Great block shot by Smith on Donovan's attempt.
That's the first 4th shot by Billy Donovan all afternoon.
Tillman going up, discontinued double dribble, and they'll turn it over. Georgetown turning it over with golden opportunities to really eat into Providence's lead here, Tom.
Well, sometimes that's what happens with this Georgetown ball club. They really get a little careless with the ball. But they are going against the master right now, Billy Donovan, who's going to make sure more often than not that you get a good shot like right here.
Brooks misses the shot.
That was a good shot by Brooks.
Reggie Williams. It's a 10-point game again, 76-66, 4:28 remaining.
It ain't over yet, as they say.
Not until the clock says 0, Tommy. And as John Thompson said, we play a 40-minute game. Add it up when it's all over. Kipper working inside. Stopping is Williams. You got to have eyes behind your back when you play Georgetown's defense. 4 minutes to go. The lead is 10. 16 on the shot clock.
And they're really gambling off Duda now, Georgetown, for steals and inside. Maybe something can happen.
5 seconds on the 45-second clock, and Donovan's called for the offensive foul.
What great quick feed by Tillman.
We're getting down to the crunch time of the Southeast Regional Final here at Freedom Hall. Upset-minded Providence, who knocked off UAB and Austin Peay in overtime, and then shocked Alabama by 21, leading virtually all the way here. And in front of Georgetown, 76-66. 3:43 remaining in the game. There is the timeout and team foul story and possession. And all that Providence has to do, Tommy, is withstand an onslaught by the Hoyas in the final moment.
Black and blue state does it to you coming down the stretch.
Reggie Williams is 25. He's playing with 4 fouls. The big gun for Georgetown.
That's when all this bruising and physical stuff starts to pay off for Georgetown the last few minutes.
Tillman. He's hit from that corner, and a foul called against Providence. Tremendous offensive rebounding by Georgetown. We want to emphasize again and re-emphasize how Georgetown has come from behind in these games to win this year. Most recently against Ohio State in the second round. There's Charles Smith. He's been an offensive spark. The foul was against Steve Wright, and here's Anthony Allen shooting.
I like Reggie Williams coming down the stretch, too, because he's got ice water in his blood, and nothing disturbs him when he has to take a pressure shot.
Iron under velvet. That's what Reggie Williams is all about. Allen, 1 out of 2. And the foul against the Hoyas, and Providence will go to the line to shoot 1 in the bonus. And that's one Georgetown would like to get back.
Now, John Thompson paid Rick Pitino, who we just saw earlier, the ultimate compliment. He said, what a great job Pitino did with Providence. He taught old dogs new tricks.
That's what he's done, basically. Pitino, fantastic job under a lot of personal pressure in the past 10 days. We'll tell you about it. Kipper hits the front end of the 1-and-1.
Very, very big free throw to try and change the momentum. And Providence has to be a little cagey. Work the time off the clock, but yet not give up a good potential scoring opportunities. They still have to score baskets.
78-67, an 11-point game. Georgetown had got it down to 9 for the first time since late in the first half. Now it's 11 again with the clock in the lower right-hand portion of your screen. The winner goes to New Orleans in the Final Four. Smith has a shot blocked by Darrell Wright.
He was in that Venus flytrap. They invited him in, and they closed around him and ate him up.
Under 3 minutes to go. Tillman grabbing from the ball from behind. Donovan. Double team.
Billy, good judgment that time to pull it up. He had the wide open shot.
He puts a fake on Smith. Donovan, foul going up, and he'll shoot a pair.
Here's the Venus flytrap in operation. There they are. They invite him in. Look, one on either side, and the center right down on the bottom. They swallowed him up, and he coughed up the ball.
3 on Smith. Donovan will shoot. Perry McDonald comes in for Tillman. Providence with tremendous shot blocking ability inside. Steve Wright has 7 of those blocked shots. Tommy, at this point, with all the tremendous pressure put on by Georgetown, it looks like they're on a treadmill, trailing by 11.
They really do not have the shooting team that Providence College does, Dick. I think Providence exhibited the fact that they have some excellent offensive players to go along with Billy Donovan. I mean, the emphasis of what happened today was all inside people having to score, and they responded.
Wayne Bryant came in. Donovan, by the way, an 84% free throw shooter, has missed a couple from the line today. He's 8 out of 10, but a 12-point lead with 2:39 remaining for Providence.
Providence right now should try and make Georgetown move the ball around. Reggie Williams going to take those quick shots.
Wild shot. Donovan has it for Providence.
Now you can work it down, Dick. Take a little time off that clock. You still have to score at least one more basket.
At least. Providence has not been in the Final Four since 1973 when Dave Gavitt's team lost to Memphis State in the semis. But Delray Brooks loses the ball to Anthony Allen inside. And with under 2 minutes to play, here comes Georgetown. Reggie Williams misses, and Perry McDonald, no basket. But McDonald got terrific position inside.
I just love Perry McDonald. I mean, I don't know where he gets the audacity to think that he can rebound against guys 6'10", but he does.
There's Dave Gavitt, who's doing the radio broadcast. Haywood Ledford on the left, and Jim Kelly, and Pop Lewis committing his 5th foul, is out of the ball game. So Ernie Pop Lewis, senior from Germantown, Pennsylvania, may not be playing in his last college game. Fouls out, having scored 7 points with 1:54 remaining.
And he's got 2 brothers too, right?
Mm-hmm. No, well, that's the myth.
That's the myth?
Yeah, that's not really how he got his nickname, but you know, it's one of those things that sound good, right?
Snap, crackle, and Pop Lewis.
Darrell Wright comes in. Wright, by the way, has scored 19 points and is the high scorer for Providence. And McDonald is on the line. 79-67. Providence's biggest lead was 18. And after an early lead for Georgetown, it's been the Friars game all the way.
I love this ball player, really. He's a junior wide body.
Misses a big free throw. And the foul is on Bryant. And Donovan, who's 8 for 10 from the line, will go to the line to shoot 1 in the penalty. And John Thompson, who will coach the 1988 Olympic team, doesn't want to see that dream end. And as a matter of fact, Tommy, Bryant, who you saw there, is one of 4 players that John Thompson has from New Orleans, who so badly would love to go back home for the Final Four, but that dream for them slipping away.
John Thompson really has done an outstanding job with a very young basketball team and one experienced player, a real finesse player in Reggie Williams.
Donovan, 14 points. .140 remaining. Perry McDonald, short left-handed hook, loose ball. And a 3-point shot missed. And the basket by Charles Smith, who has 9. It's 81-69, 12-point game. And you know they're going to want to keep the ball in Donovan's hands. And a Georgetown foul committed by Smith, and that'll be his 4th. Donovan will go to the line. Winner plays the survivor of Syracuse in North Carolina. Tommy, we talked about Rick Pitino and the job he has done and the tremendous burden that is on his shoulders. He lost his infant son 6 days prior to the NCAA tournament. 6-month-old Daniel. And as he said, the games keep us going. And I told my team, the best thing you can do for me and my family is to win and keep me involved in basketball. The tears will come later.
We spoke to him yesterday, Dick, about that, and the tears just welled up in his eyes. He's quite a guy. I think he's profited from playing coaching in the pro ranks. A lot of what Providence College does has been utilizing some of the pro aspects, some different plays. He said, I have a different respect for defense now since I coached in the pro ranks with UB Brown.
83-69, winding down to a minute to go. Reggie Williams, wild shot. Providence is going to pull the upset. Bryant Misses. Kipfer. Loose ball. And they're going to call a foul as Delray Brooks and Bryant collide. And Georgetown with 51 seconds to go. Down by 14 points.
I have to give a tip of the hat to Delray Brooks, who absolutely had a fantastic ball game against Alabama. He, along with Brooks, have used some real discipline to help make this a win today for Providence College. Didn't force any shots whatsoever and played good, tough defense.
Bryant shooting. Someone would have told you that Georgetown would have 27 offensive rebounds to 6 for Providence and take 24 more shots than the Friars. You'd say, well, that's going to be a Georgetown win. But it hasn't been that way. Georgetown shooting 36%. And for the 4th meeting of the year, they're going to end up 2-2. But the one that really counted was this one. First time since '73 the Friars get to the Final Four. Darrell Wright is hit in the eye, and he'll go to the line to shoot.
Rick Pitino had an excellent game plan. I think he anticipated that John Thompson would take away the outside shot, and he really set it up beautifully for their inside people to score.
Providence will play the winner of the North Carolina-Syracuse game, as the Big East continues to be a force in NCAA play. Perfect today from the field, 6 for 6, including 4 for 4 from three-point range. This is one free throw. He's got 20 in the ball game. 84-71. Bryant gets his own rebound. Beats Perry McDonald for 2, and timeout called by Georgetown. And it's 84-73. It's Reggie and the Miracles. And that's what Georgetown needs, a miracle, to pull this one out. A disconsolate Georgetown bench. But Tommy, John Thompson said it was a pleasant surprise. It still is. No one expected the Hoyas to get even this far.
Considering that they really don't have a super big man, an inside game to go to, I think this young Georgetown team, with only one real smooth shooting experienced player in Reggie Williams, has gone a great distance already. They've run a heck of a marathon.
The lead is 11 with 31 seconds to go, and the foul on Bryant. And Rick Pitino over there still making those substitutions. And he's going to bring in Steve Wright. And once again, we have not experienced an NCAA championship in which all 4 top seeds have made it to the Final Four. All 4 of them this year got it to the Final 8. But Georgetown stops here.
Can you imagine Billy the Kid on Bourbon Street?
We'll probably have a milkshake and go to bed at 7 p.m.
I think so. We'll be looking for a basketball court to practice on.
14 of 16 from the line. Donovan. And Donovan with 18 points. Darrell Wright with 20 are the big scorers for Providence. Reggie Williams with 25 as Smith misses a three-pointer. And it goes out of bounds, and it's still Georgetown's ball. No, it's Providence.
The guys that really did the job and responded, I think, was Steve Wright, Darrell Wright, and Kipfer. Boy, Kipfer did a great job of reading defense and getting some good shots early.
Well, you said it at the outset. Georgetown was not going to let Providence take those three-point shots like Alabama did, and they didn't. They extended it. Other than Darrell Wright, no one else really did damage, but the inside play of those guys got the job done. Providence College will go to the Final Four in Rick Pitino's second year as head coach.
Why he went to Providence College, Rick Pitino, is that he was successful at Boston University. He left to go with the Knicks, but he left Boston University because his successful program didn't engender any real enthusiasm from the students or the city. And he went back to Providence because he knew that if he was successful there, he would have the student support and the support of the city.
Last game for Reggie Williams, 25 points.
We'll be seeing an awful lot of him future guaranteed. Reggie Williams.
Someone's got to go home. You lose one and you're gone, and when the underdog wins, it's an extra special feeling. And it's got to be an extra special feeling for a team like Providence that has really risen rapidly in the Big East, which is a very tough conference indeed. Villanova didn't make the NCAA tournament. They were champs a couple of years ago.
I don't think this is a Cinderella team. I agree with John Thompson.
That's what it's all about. Three-point shot by Tillman, no good. Providence does it. The big upset, 88-73. They're going to New Orleans. Southeast Regional champions, knocking off top-seeded Georgetown here at Freedom Hall in Louisville. Dick Stockton and Tom Heinsohn now send you to Jim Nance in New York.
All right, Dick Stockton, only 2 years ago, Rick Pitino took over this team, a team that was 11-20. Now he has them in the Final Four. The Chevy MVPs for Providence, Darrell Wright. And you see Providence advancing on, and Darrell Wright is the Chevy MVP for the Friars. Reggie Williams completing his remarkable career with Georgetown. Coming up, University of North Carolina will be taking on Syracuse for the East Regional Championship.
And it sure is great being in Rhode Island. It's a lot better than being in Indiana.